Good Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Junaida Bilal, and today I would be discussing to you all about the misconceptions to Muslim. First and foremost, the topic is, what is Islam? Islam is the religion wherein their believers believe in Allah, that Allah is the one true God, that Allah is the only God, and then that Prophet Muhammad is the last messenger. The last, not the only messenger, but the last messenger. There are many more messengers sent by Allah, the God, to the people in order to lead them back to the proper way, in order to lead them back to Him, to His heaven, to Him, and to follow Him. But the last messenger that He sent is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, anyone who claims that they are the messenger after Prophet Muhammad is probably a liar. Now that is Islam. Islam is also the religion of peace, the religion of knowledge, seeking knowledge. One of the favorite quotation I've learned is, seek knowledge from cradle to death. What does this mean? It means that every person is obligated to seek knowledge from the moment that they can understand, they can think, and till the very end of their life. That is what it means. Now, who are the Muslims? The Muslims are the believers of Islam. They are the believers of Allah. They are the one who believe in Allah, that He is the only God, He is the one true God, and that His last messenger is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Muslims are also scholars. They seek knowledge about their religion and then they deliver it to the people. That are the Muslims. They deliver peace. They deliver the truth to other people in order to be guided back to the right path. Muslims are the instruments used by Allah in order to guide people back from the right path. That are the Muslims. Muslims are not terrorists. The Muslims are not liars or hostile or violent at all. Now, let's go to the misconceptions to Muslims. The first misconception that I've heard in my entire life is that Muslims cannot go to church. That's a lie. I've been going in and out of church when I was younger, and I didn't burn to ashes. I didn't scream in agony, and I definitely did not die, as you can see. That is the first misconceptions to the Muslims. Now, if I can go, or if Muslims can go inside the church, I definitely won't be killed by the holy water. The holy water, or Muslim can even take a bath using holy water. No one will die. They will not disintegrate to ashes. I am not going to disintegrate to ashes. So if I'm not unaffected by the holy water, obviously I am also not going to be affected by the saints. That is another lie. The saints will not kill me. I mean, they're not even alive. They're just stones, or they're wood. Now, if I'm not going to be affected by the saints of the Christians, obviously I'm not going to be affected by eating a bread. And obviously, Muslims does not get affected by exorcism. In the first place, Muslims are not possessed. They are not a possessed being. Therefore, even if you exorcise them, nothing will happen, because they are not possessed by a demon or by an evil spirit. I've heard that several times in my entire life as a child, and I'm just going to repeat it yet again, just in case someone is wondering, perhaps you, or maybe not. Okay, now another misconceptions to Muslims is that Muslims are not terrorists. Muslims are no terrorists. Terrorists are those people who make bombs or the one who bombs the place. Therefore, terrorism is not actually linked to religion. Just because one is a Muslim, one wears a veil, one says the words of Allah or the God or of Allah, does not actually mean that they are terrorists or they're going to bomb your house. It's not. Even a Christian can bomb someone else's house. Therefore, religion and terrorism has no connection at all. Now, the third misconception to Islam or to Muslims is Jesus. We do not hate Jesus. We actually love him. We believe in him. But we also do not pray to him. We also do not believe that he is God. What we believe in is that Jesus is a messenger as well, just like Prophet Muhammad. He is the second to the last messenger, and that he is a messenger or a prophet with the gift of healing. I think that's where the misconception that Jesus is a God, because he can actually bring back someone to life, he can heal anyone. But that's not true, at least in the religion of Islam. For Muslims, they believe in Jesus and they love Jesus, but they do not believe that he is the God. He is a messenger and he is a prophet to Muslims. Another misconception into Muslims is that what's the last one? Another, or at least the last misconception that I've encountered is that we do not eat pork. That's true. There are some people who believes that Muslim can actually eat one, but that's not true. I mean, even Christian is not allowed to eat one. Search a chapter or a verse in Leviticus. I think that's where I've heard it or read it before. The pork is actually even forbidden, even for Christians. It's just that some people doesn't want to. It's choice. Following what your religion asks you is a choice. It's not, even though it says that it's an obligation, it's something that one must do. It doesn't actually mean that the person will do it. Of course, there's this thing called good deeds and bad deeds, but still, people will do what they want to do and what they believe in. Now let's get back to the misconceptions. Where I'm already done talking about the misconceptions. Now I want one last thing to discuss to all of you, and that is the pillars of Islam. What are the pillars of Islam? The pillars of Islam is an obligatory duty to every Muslim. There are 5 pillars in Islam. The first pillar is Shahada. What is Shahada? Shahada is saying the words Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan wa abduhu wa rasuluhu. Now, what is Shahada, or what does the word that I spoke means? It means that it is believing that Allah is the one true God, that he is the only God, and that Muhammad is his last messenger. Simple, right? That words are the words said by Muslim or said by the Christian who want to convert to Islam. In conversion to Islam, there's no really difficult or really complicated rituals. We do not dip someone into the water. We do not need a blood oath or any kind of ritual at all. You just need to say the words of Shahada. The next pillar of Islam is Salah. Salah is prayer in English. What is prayer? Of course, this is a connection between human and God. Of course, everyone already knows it. Now, what is the difference between the prayer of Muslim and the prayer of Christian? First and foremost, Muslim prays 5 times a day. Therefore, anyone who does not pray 5 times a day is actually in the between of line of Christianity and Islam. Now, The first time of prayer in Islam is before sunrise. The second time is at noon or lunchtime. The third prayer is afternoon or snack time, around 3 to 4 p.m. And then the next prayer is before the sun sets. This is before the sun cannot be seen anymore to the sky. That is the fourth time. Now the last time of prayer is sundown, or when the sun can no longer be seen from the sky. That is the 5 times prayer of Islam. And when a Muslim prays, they don't pray unclean. They don't pray when they're bleeding. They don't pray when they've gone to the toilet. They have to clean themselves. And a Muslim woman, is not required to pray when it's on her spot's day. Now, the next pillar, or the next obligatory pillar, is zakah. What is zakah? Zakah is charity. Now, this is a bit tricky. Even though zakah, or even though the pillars of Islam is actually an obligation to every Muslim, zakah is somehow different. The poor Muslims are not actually required to pay for zakah, because zakah is a percentage. There is a percentage that you have to give from your treasure, from your bank account, from your money, from your luxury, to distribute to the other Muslims, or for the sake of Allah, a distribution for the sake of Allah. Therefore, poor Muslims, or those who are actually in hardship, are not actually required, or are not actually obliged to perform zakah. But if you are living in luxury, if you have money, and if you are not in need or capable, you are actually obliged to do it. Now, the fourth pillar is Ramadan, or fasting during Ramadan. Fasting to Muslims and Christians are different. First and foremost, we don't do it in a week. For Christians, I believe that they do it during Holy Week, but we don't do it in a week. We do it for a month. And there are some misconceptions that we do not eat the whole day when we are fasting. That's a lie. We're gonna die before a month if we actually does that. First and foremost, we eat before the sun rises, and then we eat again before the sun after the sun sets. But in between that time, we do not eat, we do not drink, we do not have sex with our partners, we do not masturbate, and we have to remain clean and pure. Therefore, women who are actually in their spots, they are not required, or not obliged, or should not perform fasting at all, because the thing that's going outside to the woman's body is not clean, and during fasting, a Muslim should maintain their cleanliness. Therefore, it is not allowed for a woman who has spots, or who is bleeding, to actually perform fasting. The last one is Hajj. What is Hajj? Hajj is a pilgrimage. To Christian, it's in Jerusalem. Now, during Hajj day, or while you are performing your pilgrimage, of course, you are also not allowed to have a sexual partner, or sex with your sexual partner. Hajj is actually tricky as well. It's like zakah, since you actually requires money and energy, and physical and mental energy when performing zakah. When performing Hajj, you are actually, or a Muslim is actually not obliged unless he or she passes the criteria in performing Hajj. The first criteria is physical capabilities. If a person is, let's say, has the inability to walk, his legs are impaired, her legs are impaired, he or she is not required to perform it. But there are still some who still does it, even with physical inabilities. And then the next one is mental abilities. If a person is not mentally stable to actually perform Hajj or the pilgrimage, he or she is not required to perform it or is not obligated to do it at all. Another one is financially stable. As I said, performing Hajj actually requires financial support. First and foremost, you need lodgings, you need food, and then you need a ticket, a visa, a passport. And that requires money, a lot of it, actually. Therefore, if one is not capable of gathering the money, gathering the sum, you are not going to be forced, or you cannot force yourself to perform the pilgrimage. But if one day you are in a state of of a financial uprise, then you are required to perform your Hajj. Now, what are the ages? When are the times you should actually perform Hajj? For men, these are the time when they actually know the right and wrong. Normally, when they reach puberty or adolescence. For women, when a girl starts her first period, she is actually allowed to perform Hajj. Now, I've forgotten, in Salah or in prayer, there is also an there is also an age where you can start praying. Although children is advised to pray, they are not required or obligated to pray at all. For women, when the first period arrives, she is actually obligated to pray. But as long as she has not had her first period, she is actually not obligated to pray, but is advised to do so. It's like to males, when they actually know what is right or wrong, usually at age of 8 to 9 or 10 to 11, it depends. That are the 5 pillars of Islam. And a Muslim is someone who does it, who performs all of it. So if anyone actually says that they are Muslims, but they do not follow the rules or